What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Cjthecheesedj here, and we're back with some more Arc Insights. And as you guys can obviously tell from the title, it's the Rex versus the Spino. Now, since the Spino has received the brand new TLC buff, we are going to determine just how much better it is than the Rex. That's right, you heard me correctly. It's not a matter of which one is better. It's a matter of how good the Spino is going to kick the Rex's butt. So let's get into their base stats and take a look. Now, they're both level 1, as you guys would guess, and the Spino has 700 health, 350 stamina, 350 weight, 125.8% melee damage, so all around a pretty solid amount of health and damage. But the Rex does have decent stats himself. At 1100 health, 400 health higher than the Spino, 420 stamina, 500 weight, 125.8% melee damage. These guys are on pretty equal terms. Now that we've gone over their base stats, we're going to determine which one is faster, and I bet you guys already know the answer to that question. And we are going to try doing this without the Spino getting its actual buff as well, and then we'll obviously go back in and redo it with the Spino buff to see just how much faster it is than its actual base speed. I don't know why it's going after this poor Equus. Don't know what the poor Equus did to the Spino. So obviously, the Spino does have a variety of abilities that we will be getting into after their movement speed. Alrighty, so we're starting from the same position of the rock, and here we go, we're away. So I think the Spino is much faster than the Rex, and it took roughly 6 seconds, about 6.1 seconds for the Spino to reach that point in between the rocks. So that is pretty good. Now, take in mind he does not have the aquatic buff, whereas now he does have the aquatic buff, so he's obviously going to move faster if he does have the stamina for it, which he doesn't at the moment. But we're going to take him out of the water now, obviously, because we're just going to try and spin around here, and we're going to try and redo this run now with the water buff. Oh god, alright, come down, big guy. Alright, here we go. We're in line again. We're just going to wait for the stamina to come back up, and then we'll be running. Hopefully we don't run out of the aquatic buff. Here we go. Okay, so, and we're away. Now this is significantly faster. He's done that in about 5 seconds. So it shaves about a second off his time, which is a pretty solid amount of speed. But you can see we're actually covered it faster because we still have plenty of stamina available to ourselves. So that just goes to prove it. Alright, now we're going to jump off the Spino, jump on the Rex, and see how fast the Rex is. Alrighty, let's get him lined up again here. Here we go, and we're away. Now the Rex is significantly slower than the Spino, and I think we've got the Spino set to follow. And you can see here, it has, and we're stuck. We're stuck. Really? We're going to have to redo that test now because we got stuck on the stupid rocks. They were supposed to fix that. The Rex wasn't supposed to get stuck on little rocks anymore. God damn it, so annoying. Alright, well, we're going to fix this up. Alrighty, here we are. We're back at the beginning, and we're going to go underway now. Let's go. So the Rex shouldn't hopefully get stuck on anything. I honestly think it might take him probably 10 seconds to reach this point. We're not going to be far off. Let's see. And yeah, just 10 seconds pretty much. Exactly 10 seconds is what it took for him to reach this spot. So, you know, 10 seconds versus 6 seconds and 5 seconds. Obviously, the Spino is a lot faster than the Rex with and without the water buff. So, you know, that is a great bit of useful information. Now, as well as that, the Spino also does have a bit more, or a bit better stamina usage than the Rex does. So do take that into mind as well. Okay, so one little final thing that we actually forgot to test. We did test the Spino with the water buff and, you know, without the water buff. But one thing we didn't test is actually how fast it is on its 2 rear legs. So, here we go. We're going to get it underway and we're going to see just how fast he is. And we're off. And still pretty fast, if I do say so myself. You know, it's 9 seconds, 8 seconds, you know, about 8.5 seconds it took the Spino to reach that point. Still faster than the Rex on its 2 hind legs, you know, which is pretty impressive. So that is a pretty useful skill to have. The Spino does seem to be faster than the Rex in all aspects. Alrighty, so now that we've got them here, we're just going to quickly go over their abilities. Now, the TLC Spino has received a lot of buffs to itself. Now, obviously, as you've seen throughout the video, it receives a water buff. It can walk on its hind legs, and, you know, it moves a lot faster. So essentially, while on its quadrupedal form, it moves a lot faster. It does do trample damage. You'll see here this Equus in front of us will actually take damage from us walking, which is great. It does not take damage while being in the bipedal form, so that is also something to consider. But you can see while in bipedal form, it has the ability to attack and its attacks in bipedal form do a lot more damage. You'll see this when we test out its melee damage, but its bipedal attacks deal a lot more damage. It's still able to attack in both stances, however, its quadrupedal form does deal less damage. It's just able to move faster. Now, while in bipedal form as well, the Spino is able to pivot exactly on the point without having to move, which is a pretty useful ability if you're getting swarmed by a bunch of dinos. You can quickly turn on the spot to attack them. That is a very useful ability to have. Now, as well as that, the Spino ability, the water buff, increases its movement speed, its melee damage. You can see there in the top right hand corner, your dino's health, regeneration, and damage are boosted. So not only does it get increased health regeneration, you can't see because we haven't taken any damage, but it also gets increased damage as well as increased movement speed. Alrighty, now let's move on to the Rex. So the Rex, on the other hand, he didn't really receive too many abilities in his TLC patch. He now has the ability to do a proper war, in which case most dinos will shit themselves. That's right, they will literally crap themselves when the Rex roars. However, one thing to note is that the Rex does have to be higher level than them for this to happen, and you can essentially do the same thing to survivors. The same thing does happen if survivors are caught in the roar. They will crap themselves as well. This can essentially be used as a stun mechanism to stun enemy creatures while, you have other dinos go in and attack them. So that is a very useful ability to have. But other than that, the Rex does not receive any other abilities. He doesn't even receive a tail swipe, which I really think he should have received, because he does have a third attack slot, the right stick, which he doesn't utilize, and that could easily be used for a tail swipe attack. Considering that he is one of the most predominantly best creatures on Ark, he's crap. He's got the regular biting attack and the roar, that's it, and one of the highest melee damages in the game. But they could have easily given him a tailspin attack, in my opinion, that is, so, don't yell at me for that. But that is all the Rex has for himself. Alright, next up, turning radius and swim speed in water. So the turning radius of the Rex is rather large. You can see that he does take quite a bit of time to turn around. He's slow, he's bulky, he's big. That's just the way he was made. That's just the way he is. And, obviously our one has horrible stamina, so it takes forever to recharge. His turning radius is what you'd expect of a gigantic dinosaur, rather large, but you can still turn rather easily. Alright, the Spino, on the other hand, you have seen, it is really good. Obviously, his bipedal form is great because he can just stand on two legs and spin around. It's great, but his sprinting form, his quadrupedal form, still, kind of big. I think it's slightly bigger than the Rex's, honestly. I'm going to say it's slightly bigger than the Rex's. But, you can easily counter this by just quickly swapping onto your 2 feet and just spinning the camera. It's that simple. So, there's really not that much of a difference in the quadrupedal forms, but in the bipedal form for the Spino, there is a big difference. Now, while we've got them here, the Spino's swim speed is still the same before the TLC patch, I believe. I don't think his swim speed was changed. He still does receive the water buff, however, but, his swim speed is still the same. Obviously, you can deep dive with these guys. I would take them deep diving. They've got a great amount of stamina that drains incredibly slow. You can see there, we've got 650 stamina, and it's draining at 2 per second. You can easily buff that up, increase their movement speed that way if you want to so much in the water, but, you can easily take them into the oceans. Rex, on the other hand, well, he's a sloth. He likes taking his time sightseeing while being in the water. He's incredibly slow in the water, and I would not recommend taking the Rex out into the ocean. Only use him to cross rivers or lakes and whatnot. Don't take him any further than that, because you will be there for a very long time. Alright, so now we're going to test out their melee damage. So this is going to be a long one because the Spino has 3 different forms of melee damage. So first off, his quadrupedal stance at level 1 deals 50 damage. He does deal a slight knockback, which you can see there, which is rather useful. Now, his bipedal form, on the other hand, does deal a lot more damage. You can see there 25 points of damage difference between the two. That is an incredibly high amount of damage between them. Now, if we come back into the water, grab the water buff, you'll see just how much more damage the Spino is able to do. So we're hitting 50 on our quadrupedal form. Now we are hitting 57, so 7 points of damage, and the 75 that we were hitting has gone up to 86 damage. So there's 9 points of damage between there. So it's a percentage-based boost. I'm not 100% sure of the boost. I think it is 15% off the top of my head. May or may not be correct. But yeah, so essentially, regardless, the Spino does get buffed. You know, he also receives the health regeneration, which is absolutely wonderful, where he takes damage and the water regenerates his health incredibly fast. Now we're going to jump onto the Rex here, and we're going to come and face this Stego here, who's charging us down. 78 damage. So the Spino isn't really that far behind the Rex in terms of damage. With the water buff, he's actually more powerful than the Rex. But even so, 75 damage in bipedal form is really not that much of a difference. Now you can see there the Stego is, what level is this Stego? It's going to tear us apart. Okay, so now that we've tested their 3 points of damage, we're just going to check who gathers the most meat. And once again, we're actually going to have to do the process in which we spawn in multiple Stegos for us to kill, because the Spino is going to have the 3 levels of gathering once again, whereas the Rex only has 1. See what I mean about the tail whip though? They should definitely implement a tail whip for the Rex. So we're going to get this sorted and we'll bring you guys back. Okay, so first up we've got the Rex. Now you can currently see his inventory is empty. Now the Rex is definitely one of the best meat gatherers in the game. Let's take a chomp out of the Stego here. Now you can see that 92 raw meat, 50 hide, 6 prime meat. Now the raw meat is going to decrease because he's eating, but we did manage to gather 92 raw meat with the Rex, 6 prime meat, and 50 hide. This is base level 1. So all in all, that is a pretty solid amount of meat that the Rex is able to gather. So, you know, kudos to the Rex. Obviously, he is one of the best prime meat and regular meat gatherers in the game. So do take that into mind. But we're going to jump on the Spino here. We're going to check how much he's able to gather in his quadrupedal form, his bipedal form, and his bipedal form while boosted with the water buff. Alright, so we've got this Stego up here. The Spino's inventory is empty. Let's take a chunk. So you can see there 83 raw meat, 3 prime meat, and 40 hide. Obviously not on par with the Rex, however, that was just his quadrupedal form. 83 raw meat, 3 prime meat, and 40 hide. Now let's go into bipedal form here, and you can see that we'll probably gather more meat because we are actually dealing more damage. And you can see there is a slight difference in the amount. 5 prime meat, 85 raw meat is what we gathered, and 50 hide. So he did get a bit of a boost to the amount of resources he did gather, which is, you know, decent. Now let's take a look at how much he's able to gather with his water buff. Come over here, here we go. Bipedal form activated. Now my money is that he will actually gather more meat, and I was correct. Jeez Louises, he gathered a crap ton more meat than the Rex. So he gathered 11 prime meat and 107 raw meat. That is a big difference. Let's just clarify here. 101 raw meat, 11 prime meat, and 57 hide. That is an extremely high amount of raw prime meat in one corpse. That is crazy. So the Spino is the better meat gatherer than the Rex as well. So this video is pretty much concluded, guys. Now, the only problem I foresee with the battle to the death is that the Spino actually doesn't go into bipedal form with the AI so far as I can see. And I don't think there is an actual option to enable it. So we're going to have to try and do 2 separate battles here. We're going to try doing one with him being bipedal and then one with him being bipedal with the water buff. I'm not 100% sure if it'll work, but we're just going to have to find out and see. So we're going to get this set up and then we'll bring you guys back for it. Alrighty, so they're all set up and ready to go. Let's get this underway. Now, we're going to see, okay, so the Spino does attack in his bipedal form. The Rex is too busy wasting time. Now, I think the Spino might go into the water here and actually get the buff. We didn't set this up very well, but Jesus Christ! The Spino just absolutely wrecked the face off the Rex. With its added movement speed, sorry, not movement speed, its added attack speed and the 75 damage that it was able to deal, it absolutely shredded the Rex. The Rex only got 300 points of damage on to the Spino, which is incredible. So the Spino now is probably the king of Ark in terms of damage-wise. Now we're going to chuck the saddle onto him just so he gets the water buff now, and he should already have it. No, he doesn't have it yet. There we go. Now you guys will actually see his health regeneration in progress. Why is his health regeneration not working? Let's come into the water here a bit more. Here we go. It should start to work. It's not working. Is it working? It doesn't look like it's working to me. Alright, I don't know why his health regeneration buff isn't working. Let's come out of the water here. Maybe this will trigger it. There we go. Now you can see his health regeneration is increased slightly, is it? I'm not sure. We have seen its health regeneration in the TLC video that we have released. You guys can check it out there. Don't know why it's not working here for some reason. What we're going to do now is we're going to summon in another Rex, and we're going to get them to fight in the water. So we're going to leave the Spino there so he does have the water buff. We're going to quickly jump back on him. Yeah, you can see there the Spino does have the water buff. And we're going to summon in another Rex to take on the Spino. Okay, so this time around we're actually going to unclaim the Spino just because we feel like we need to get the Rex to actually get the first hit in, because the Spino is absolutely going to shred him with this water buff. Alright, so the Spino is unclaimed. We're going to whistle for our Rex to attack the Spino. Let's see what exactly happens. Now, my money is on the Rex actually blowing out his roar first, and then the Spino in that time will actually shred him to smithereens. Now, let's see what happens. Alright, here we go. Whoop. And the fight should be underway. No, we didn't do it properly. Okay, well, fix this up. Hold on. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. I'm sorry. Sorry my weird typing didn't trigger it. Alright, let's go. This should hopefully make it work. Here we go. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Get ready. Get keen. Here we go. Let's go. Go, Rexy. Get him. Yep, like I said, the Rex is going for the roar. The Spino's not pooping himself. But you can see there the pure damage coming out of the Spino. The poor Rex doesn't have a chance. The Spino is able to get 3 attacks in, while the Rex is only able to gather 1. That paired with the health regeneration of the Spino, Jesus, you can see this guy is crazy. And we see how much damage the Spino did. 166 health is how much health the Spino is on. The reason why I think the Rex managed to do more damage this time around is because there was more space in between the Rex and the Spino, so the Rex had more time to do his roar without getting hit as much. But the Spino, still, the pure destruction of it is crazy. It's easily able to fell Rexes now. So, honestly, you could probably get away with using this guy in the boss arenas. To be fair, if there is access to water, do take that into mind. You could probably use these Spinos on the Broodmother, because I think there is water in the Broodmother arena. So, guys, that'll conclude today's video. Hands down, the Spino is the winner. He's better in every way. Like, honestly, it is crazy how much better they've made the Spino now. But that'll conclude today's video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you had a good time watching it. But other than that, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one.